Valentina Shevchenko is one of the best fighters in the world, regardless of gender, creed, culture, doesn't matter. Hands down, she's the best to ever do it. She went up against Lauren Murphy last night, but the conversation is not about that. We're about to get into a much larger situation that's happening in all of combat sport, whether it's bare knuckle brawling, boxing, UFC, MMA across the board, and that is coaching that does not carry value and tons of smoke and mirrors. People look at resumes and they start to identify with things that they are familiar with, like who have you worked with? And then they take that as Bible and they don't really look at the real detail about the sport, what you're actually doing when you're in that corner, or do you just have a thoroughbred? You can just have a thoroughbred and they can fight really good and they make you look good. We call that carrying the coach. Coach riding the horse, the thoroughbred, across the finish line and taking all of the accolades. But what we do note, those who really do it on the real side of the sport, excuse me for 1 second, is that all you have to do is listen in between the rounds and you will find that you can find each and every one of those flaws that speaks volumes of what the coach actually does not know. And last night, Valentina Shevchenko went up against Lauren Murphy, and Lauren Murphy's in the situation with her boyfriend. And what you saw was in that corner, all that they did was told her what she didn't want to hear because they told her lies. And then on the other side, the other guy, the other trainer, was clueless on what to say. So he just ran out this rendition, and I played it back, and I've seen it so much, man. Even Daniel Cormier was like, that's not the right response that you need to tell your fighter. When you're in a fight and your fighter comes back to the corner, they need to know how to take away what that person is having success in. And what they did not do, what they failed to do, is tell her the truth and how to deal with it, because 9 times out of 10 you don't know. And I always try to tell these coaches, before you get into a situation when it comes down to fighting and you better have the right team intact. We always talk about this. It's never a scenario that we try to hide the facts, but the facts of the matter is this. If you do not have a formidable team behind you, what you're going to find is that. And it's not going to be good for you in the end, because she looked like a deer in headlights. And then we catapult over here and we look at Shevchenko, who's such an expert in what she does. She speaks 7 languages. She knows how to attack. She knows how to counter. She understands the entire savage package of what it takes to be an athlete at the highest level of combat. You cannot shake a stick at that. And Lauren was in for a very rude awakening. But what she also got a chance to do is see how her team would operate when it was suited for them to show who they are, what they're made of, because she can only do what she's told to do when she's up against the upper echelon of fighters in the world. These are the greatest fighters and the combat athletes on the planet. What is she to do? And that brings me to my point. The guys that are in the corner write the script for you. And if they don't know how to write the dictation and then deliver it, what you're gonna find is an athlete that has the abilities to be elite and win against the best fighters, but they continue to come up short based upon the strategy, a la Anthony Joshua versus Usyk on the same day, the same scenario. You can't have the proper strategy you're going to have an elite athlete that continues to find a way to come up short. That's boxing. This is MMA, and it's the same problem. That's my only issue, is that when you're choosing the people to aid you in your corners, fighters, you best know one thing. The resume means nothing, because you can have a great fighter, a dynamo like Pacquiao, or somebody like George St. Pierre, who just is a savage inside of that octagon, and then you just take credit. But you talk about the people like the Conan Silveiras, who are truly scientists inside of that ring. When I went over to the American Top Team and had a conversation with Conan, just to be able to pick inside and have conversation with someone who also has an immense prowess when it comes down to combat sports and the athlete. Those are the type characteristics you got to listen and look for. The kind of people who know how to break down the science of boxing and MMA without stuttering at all. And that's what you find in guys like Conan Silveira. And that's why American Top Team is taking subpar athletes and elite athletes and creating world champions. You can't fake that. You got to look at the real side of the resume. Don't look at who they train. Look at how they train them when it's time to show face. And two athletes were victimized by subpar training, subpar corner work. Lauren Murphy had an opportunity to show a medal. Anthony Joshua, once again, had an opportunity to show his medal and couldn't do it because of the team. So surround yourself with a positive team. Know and do the research. Listen to the guy. Because if they cannot break down what exactly needs to be done in that moment of truth, there's your answer right there. Daniel Cormier, Michael Bisping, these guys understand the science. You know, Dominique, Chael Sonnen, these guys get it. You got to be wise, man, beyond your years. These guys aren't trainers. They aren't coaches. They are professors, teachers. That's what the game's missing. And it's obvious after those performances last night in boxing and in that Shevchenko fight, because Shevchenko is just an animal. That's all I got, man. Until next time, continued blessings. Coach Bradley signing out. This is Master Boxing, and follow us across the board for that Wisdom in Combat Sports.